Not all of our listeners and viewers are fortunate enough to be in the Louisville area. So let's start with, what do you do and how long have you been doing it?
Okay. So my name is Patrick Armstrong. I'm the president and CEO here at Kentucky Derby Museum. I have been here 7 years. I started in August of 2015, and I've been in the Derby business a long time. Before I came here, I was with the Kentucky Derby Festival for 21 years collectively.
Okay.
So I believe in Derby and the spirit of Derby and what it means to our community and what it means to us internationally. And so very fortunate to have this role here at the museum. So our mission at the museum is to educate, engage, and excite everyone about the extraordinary experience that is the Kentucky Derby. And we take great pride in that. So we are the keepers of Derby history, coming up on 149 years of the Kentucky Derby. And it's been held in the same location at the same track since 1875.
Wow. And I have several Derby glasses to prove it.
Well, if you have any of the early ones, make sure you hold on to them. They're very valuable.
I'm not that fortunate, but so how big is your team and how is it structured?
So we have 92 employees. And of that, there were 39 part-timers and 53 full-timers.
Okay.
And then, gearing up for Derby season every year, we will hire 10 to 20 additional employees on a part-time basis to work in the museum gift shop downstairs. We also operate the Churchill Downs store over next door at Churchill Downs. So we staff that as well. And that is only open when Churchill Downs races, and they race only 75 days a year. So we do ramp up each season. We do also add tour guides to the front desk, and those are part-time positions as well. We're the exclusive tour provider of Churchill Downs.
Okay. So what are some of the issues you're seeing in terms of employment, in terms of finding people?
So, it's been pretty steady for us up until probably the last 6 or 8 months. We're very fortunate. We've been able to hold on to our workers. Our turnover rate is pretty low, particularly in the last year or so. But we have struggled in the last 6 months to keep up with the part-time workers, and that's at retail and at the front desk. We have about 4 positions to fill right now in retail. And I think there are 3 tour guide opportunities right now that we're trying to fill, as well as our facilities team. We have a full-time facilities team here, and they take care of setting up for our events, all things building maintenance and all that. So sometimes it's a little tough to find those folks.
So what is it that makes you unique that would draw somebody, aside from the allure of the Kentucky Derby? What is special about your organization and your culture that would bring people in?
So we pride ourselves on a great culture here at the museum. Part of what you just mentioned is the allure of the Derby, the allure of what is perceived as a fun place to work, and is generally just that. It's a very fun place to work. Although, we have our challenges. There's a construction project going on next door that is intrusive for us because we're open every day. And as I said, they only race 75 days a year. So it's a massive construction project on the paddock. And so we strive to keep morale very positive. But for outsiders looking to work here at the museum, we emphasize a lot of different programs here. We strive very hard to communicate, over communicate to our employees. We have employee events. We have some perks that are hard to find somewhere else. When you're next door to Churchill Downs, obviously, there are tours on the backside that we do. We have special discounts for employees in the gift shop. You know, it's most, when you talk to someone outside of Louisville, the first two things they ask you once they find out where you're from, the first two things they usually ask you is, you know, have you ever been to the Kentucky Derby? And what do you know about Kentucky Fried Chicken? So, so folks that work here have an automatic plug-in with anybody they meet, and everybody has a fun Derby story. And so that helps us in recruiting, honestly.
Okay. So if you could start this whole thing over again, is there anything that you would do differently?
So, you know, I think there are always things that you would do differently. I have a large network of people that I'm connected with. I think one of the things that I would probably change would be to try to spend more time with mentors. You know, I have a couple of mentors in my past life that have now passed away. I was very close to the CEO at the Kentucky Derby Festival. Unfortunately, he passed away in his late 50s in 1997. So I learned a lot from mentors, but I wish that I could have spent more time with a few of them and actually added more along the way. I think it's important to learn things, and you learn things from people with experience, not just you know, with life experiences, but with professional experiences and the ability to network with people. You know, one of the mantras that one of my mentors always said was, you can learn something if you try, you can learn something from everyone you meet.
Very much so. So is that something that, you know, are you being a mentor, and have you encouraged mentorship in your organization?
We strive to do that. It's very busy here, and so probably not as much as I should, but we are continuing the effort.
Okay, I can appreciate that. So tell me about the future. What's the future hold for the Kentucky Derby Museum?
Well, we're embarking on a really exciting few years here at the museum. So this year is the 50th anniversary of Secretariat. So Secretariat won the Triple Crown in 1973. And we have a huge exhibit planned, $400,000 exhibit planned for the second floor of the museum that will debut on April 20th of this year. Churchill Downs is also celebrating Secretariat, and the Derby Festival, I believe, is celebrating Secretariat as well, with the parade and a couple of other things. But we originated the idea. So we're really excited about Secretariat and celebrating the 50th anniversary, arguably the most popular racehorse of all time. I would say really not arguably, probably is the most popular racehorse of all time, and was transformative in the 70s as far as culture goes for thoroughbred racing. So 2024, next year, is the 150th Kentucky Derby celebration, 150 years of the Kentucky Derby. So obviously there are big things planned for next year for the museum. We are working with Churchill Downs and their staff on bringing forth the highlight moments of 150 years of a great sporting event that is the Derby. And then in 2025, Two things. One is it is the 40th anniversary of the museum. So the museum was built in 1985. So we're doing some things along with that for 2025 and the 40th celebration of the museum. The other piece of that is we've expanded here. We added 11,000 square feet and refurbished 5,000 square feet back in 2018, right before the pandemic. And in 2019, we had record attendance. We had 242,000 in attendance over the course of the year in 2019. We hope to get back to that this year. But in 2025, we have been working on a 5-year strategic plan. And by 2025, there will be no exhibit in the museum that's more than 7 years old. So we're excited about that. In museum world, most museums like us, and I'll explain that in a second, but most museums like us, they will change every 5 to 10 years. They will change their exhibits. So we take pride in the fact that we've invested along the way. We've introduced a major exhibit each year. Even 2020, our Black Heritage and Racing exhibit, we had started the plans to build that, and we did launch that in 2020. 2021, this is the Kentucky Derby, and so on. So we take great pride in investing in the museum, being important to our visitors. What I referenced before is a museum like ours. So we're on the we're more of the business model that we build permanent exhibits here at the museum and keep them for 5 to 10 years. Other museums will invest in traveling exhibits that travel the country, and they will be at the museum for a limited time, like the Speed Art Museum. There will be an exhibit there for a period of time that will be Van Gogh or whatever it is, right? But we're a little different than that. So we don't, we usually don't go outside for major exhibits. And honestly, we are sort of the gold standard, along with the National Museum of Racing in Saratoga. We are kind of the gold standard when it comes to thoroughbred racing museums.
Well, it certainly is a crown jewel for the city, and everyone at your museum is definitely an ambassador as well. So my experiences there have been wonderful, and I hope lots of other people experience it. I'm putting it on my calendar to come in April and see the Secretariat exhibit.
Yeah, come after April 20th, and you'll see a great exhibit. We're very excited about it.
Well, I'm excited for you in your future, and I know that you've built a great team. What I would like to offer you as a thank you is an employee engagement survey. And this takes your team 3 to 5 minutes to complete, but it's going to give you a sense of what they're thinking and how they're feeling, what is important to them, and what it is that they appreciate about the museum, as well as if there are any areas that you need to be addressing in the future. So,
okay, let me take that. Let me talk with our HR folks. So we just completed a major diversity, equity, inclusion initiative here, which included a large employee survey, and we did a retreat with employees. We created a DE&I committee that is active, and we're reviewing policies and procedures with that right now. So let me speak with our HR folks, and but I appreciate the offer very much.
Okay, I will follow all that up with an email, and I'll include an ebook in there as well, because as we know, the whole secret to building a great team is that culture, and right. You offer a very unique experience, but building that culture that makes people want to really show up and be great is the key to success. And you said you have a lot of long-term employees, so you're clearly got some of that going very, very well.
Well, we hope so. We hope so. We hope to keep it up.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I will be sharing the link to this video so that you can post on your social media as well. And I'll follow up with an email. And it was just a pleasure meeting you. And I hope to see you around at the museum someday.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. And thanks for the opportunity to talk with you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Pat. Have a great day.
Take care. Thank you.